Hello and welcome to Tea Leaves Programming. Today we're gaming like it's 1979, or more precisely, more like it's 1982, 1992. I posted this image on the channel's community page the other day because people were really intrigued by it. I decided to do a whole video of it. There were Mac ports of the first two Wizardry games, Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord and Knight of Diamonds, and they are unlike every other Wizardry game you've played. So I wanted to take just a very quick look at them. I have both games here, and I've frankly been struggling with myself about which one to actually show you. But I think I'm going to show you both. Hold on, I managed to close all my windows here. Let me open this up in my emulator. This is the Basilisk 2 emulator, which is essential if you want to play old Mac games. The reason I've been going back and forth is that by pure coincidence and through no effort on my part, the Knight of Diamonds that one can find for Macintosh nowadays, if you're not getting it on the original media, happens to come with full party of ludicrously over-leveled characters. And in fact, they're so over-leveled, and they have honors like Knight of Lilgamen. It clearly suggests to me that these characters were edited with a character editor, because I don't think you could create these characters in Mac Wizardry, because there was no Wizardry 3 Legacy of Lilgamen for Mac. So using these characters will make the game super easy. We're not going to play the whole game, but why bother seeing us die? However, you can't create a character in Knight of Diamonds. So before we play Knight of Diamonds, let's dive into Wizardry 1 and just take a look at what character creation looks like. Let me close some of these windows. This is like Mac OS 6 or 7 or something, so it's super, there's no hide all hotkey, I don't believe, in this OS. All right, so you can see I have some characters here that came on the disk. Some of them I've already gotten killed. So I need to create a new priest. So we'll go to the training center over here. I'm going to click on it and nothing happens. Well, that's because it's a Macintosh. You need to double click to do the thing. And we get something very interesting, right? This is both weird, and if you think about it another way, not weird at all. It's weird because this is using the then current Mac UI as the presentation and interface for the game. Everything you're going to do in Wizardry for Mac OS felt like, you know, what you would be doing if you ran a spreadsheet or a word processor on the Mac. And, you know, that's very different from most games back then. What's a good name for a priest? How about, Pious? That's a good name for a priest. Okay, we'll make, I think dwarves are slightly better for priests. We'll make them a good priest. Okay. And we get, again, this is like standard Mac UI, a bunch of sliders. So we'll increase the piety. We'll give them some more vitality. We'll give them a little more strength. Why not? Now I'm to bonus 0. Now I need to choose our character. Characters we cannot choose, like Samurai, are grayed out. Interesting that the UI here practically gives away the fact that you might luck into creating a Samurai, but, you know, Lord and Ninja, which are supported in these games, you're never going to get on this UI. We'll click Priest, and we'll click Create. We can inspect this new character. And you get this very Mac-like UI. It's a window. You can move it around. It has buttons. It's really just super entertaining seeing these UI paradigms applied to a game. Now, why did I say it wasn't that unusual? Well, Wizardry 1 for Apple II was made with UCSD Pascal, University of California at San Diego. And in fact, it ran inside the UCSD Pascal runtime. And if we were to look at the Wizardry UI, in fact, you know what? Let's do that right now on Apple II. All right, I'm just going to stick the Apple II window over here. You can see here we have this interface where, what have we got in this interface? We have a bunch of letters, A to go to the Adventures Inn, G parentheses to go to Gilgamesh's Tavern. If we hit G, we go into the tavern, we can add a member, right? So what's the big deal about this? Well, if I were to load a virtual machine, which I'm going to, of what UCSD Pascal operating system looks like, here we are. It's a little bit different because of the 80 column, but look up here, edit, run, file, it's the same user interface. So my point is that Wizardry for the Apple II worked the way it worked because it was inheriting the behaviors of the operating system. And that was a practical concern. Apple IIs had 130 kilobytes on a disk. You had maybe 48K of memory on a fairly advanced Apple II, 64 on the most advanced in early 1982. So this was a convenience that helped the developers be more efficient with their space. And so in a lot of ways, it makes perfect sense that Wizardry for the Mac would follow that tradition. All right, I don't actually want to wander through the beginning here too long. Well, you know what? Let's do it. Why not? Knight of Diamonds isn't going to be that different. So we have a mage, we have a thief, we have a priest. I don't want a bishop. Let's make another fighter just to have someone up front. Oh, let's call him Thog. And it can be a dwarf. And they'll be a neutral fighter, so someday they can be a samurai if they get a good roll. We got 9 bonus points. It's not a lot. Do that. And we'll make them a fighter. Okay. So let's say we want to go shopping for Thog. I'm not actually going to outfit these entire characters. I'm not here to win the game. We can go into the shop. Thog's going to go in, and we'll have him buy a sword. Okay. What else? We'll have him buy a shield too. Okay. And then I have to leave. There's no easy way here to change characters in the shop. And we'll have them do the same thing. Do they have money? They do. So there's a lot of clicking if you want to play this game. All right, imagine that I outfitted the entire party. Now I said outfitted the entire party, but you might notice, if you're particularly attentive, that this is the roster. This isn't the party. This is more than 6 characters. How do I make a party? Well, in traditional Wizardry, I would go to what? I'd go to the inn, or I'd go to the tavern, but I don't see a tavern here. Isn't that interesting? What happens if I send Fighter 1, who I already took into the dungeon once here? Okay, this is the inn where you sleep to gain levels. Where's the tavern? There is none. Instead, we have a party window. Move it where we want it. And to add or remove characters from the party, we just drag them to the window. And I believe it's implied that anyone up top is in the front row and anyone in the back is in the rear row. This is going to be a very quick dive into the dungeon because I actually didn't outfit the back people. So can you get rid of remove player windows? That doesn't seem... Oh, I see. That's probably if I open all of these windows rather than closing them one at a time. I can do that. We also have this alternate window arrangement. What's that? All characters in party. Ooh, we could open all of them at once. Isn't that nice? We'll close those windows. All right, so let's go into the maze. I love that little temple icon with the a friar. All right, so we're going to go into the maze. And now we're in the maze. Maybe alternate window arrangement does something now. No. And this is our maze window. Let's put our party here over the trash. Swag bag, I believe, is going to be for items that we haven't picked up yet. I'm going to get rid of my menu here. Can I resize this? I can't resize this, but there is this button here. Ooh, okay. So, I just discovered this right now. I was messing with this before. So if we leave it in the small mode, then we have the traditional wizardry view, and we have this very small window. I don't see, oh, enlarge maze window. Okay, and if you enlarge the maze window, you get this more detailed view with all of these textures. And we cannot enlarge it further. We can't make it an arbitrary size. So was this advanced? And I'm hitting the W key, so W, A, S, and D are working. So this must have been a fairly late build, because early wizardry, you actually used F to move forward. WASD hadn't yet become a thing at that point. So I'm very curious about the history of this and when it was actually made and whether earlier versions supported this view. But I know that this looks very primitive to us, but you have to imagine, reduce maze window. You have to imagine someone whose view of wizardry was even more primitive than this, suddenly seeing this. That's amazing. It would have been amazing at the time. All right, we've got a door. When we go through this door, we'll probably experience our first combat. And here we are. What do we get? It's Mac Wizardry, folks. We get windows, lots of windows. We have one window here for the party status. Can it be moved? It cannot. So it's both of these are fixed in place, as is this. We have a default, which is going to just execute our commands. And these are probably drop-down. No, they're not drop-down windows. So we have to know what to type here. And I don't see an option. Well, let's see. Freeran's our mage. So let's have her cast Catino. I think typing the spell name is my guess as to what we're going to say rather than spell. And everyone else, you know what? Fighter 2 is almost dead. So let's have them cast that. I don't see how to specify who it's cast on. Well, let's click attack and see what happens. Fight which group of monsters? Okay, so the interesting thing to know here is the order of operations here is a little different. In Apple II Wizardry, when you give your orders first to each person. You fight that monster. You fight that monster. You cast this spell on that monster. Here, we gave all of the standing instructions, and then as I go through, it's asking me, who do I want them to work on? And it executed it at the same time. So that's actually a fairly significant change to how wizardry on PC, PlayStation, Apple II, how all of them worked. It's actually a different vibe. Whether mathematically that could result in different outcomes, I do not know. So we'll have them heal the fighter. Good, because the fighter immediately got hit. Now we're being asked who to cast Catino on. So we were right that typing the spell name is how we actually cast the spell. Cast them on that. Oh, and I've already lost a fighter. All right, so this is clearly not going to go well. Let's... Ooh. What happens if I just hit F? Okay. F-A. What about... Is there anything else we can do? Don't know. So anything other than F or A seems to just... What about P? No, I was wondering if it would know what parry was. I don't think we had hide at this point. Let's have her cast Halito with her last spell. Oh, this is going to end badly. Yeah, so at this point, I think I've lost this battle. Actually, I can run, can't I? Let's try that. Let's see what happens if we are able to run away. Yes, we evaded the monsters. I believe now we are still in that hallway. Let's go back and let's see what resurrecting a character looks like. Even though in an actual game, you would never bother resurrecting a first level character. You just create a new one. But let's take a look. Okay. Oh, you know what? We need someone in. In fact, we need all these guys in the party in order to be able to pay for them, probably. Let's do this. All. Can I pool gold? Yes. So let's have our thief, who is still alive, pool the gold. Okay. Close all those windows. Go to the temple. We get to click on Friar Tuck over here. What poor soul needs our assistance? Well, let's say Fighter 1. So again, this is a case where we get even less kind of flavor than in other versions of the game. In the Apple II version, you'd have text going, pray, heal, chant, invoke, and then you'd find out that your dead friend was still dead and you had to pay more money, or they'd been reduced to ash and they were dead forever. So let's continue. Now you could see he is no longer grayed out. Well, let's go ahead and quit at this point. So this is Wizardry Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord for Mac 68K. It's also Knight of Diamonds as well. I just wanted to show it to people. I've done longer Let's Plays of these games. If you're interested in Knight of Diamonds, I have a no commentary Let's Play using the PlayStation version, where I'm actually using a party that I started in Proving Grounds and have brought through Knight of Diamonds. That Let's Play right now, I think I've gotten 4 of the 5 pieces of the Knight of Diamonds armor, so I'll finish it someday. But if you're interested in seeing that, please look for it on the channel. If you enjoyed this and would like more videos like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. You've been watching Tea Leaves Programming, and today we were gaming like it's around 1987 or so. Thanks for watching.